is going to be the famous like crazy from the blue line in a few years. But going back over a player who's having such a double spans everywhere are going to use younger brother Luke because when it comes extraordinary. So if we go over to Luke Hughes. Hughes brings because he's the younger brother as well of their number one defenseman. He is the tallest, the biggest amongst all the Hughes brothers, which is or of the children is the smallest, and then you get bigger as you get younger. It's kind of weird how it works out, but still, Quinn 6'2". He was bigger than these guys ever since he was like 15, 16 years old. So he was always kind of in that territory where it was like, okay, he kind of skates like Quinn, or he can skate nearly as good as Quinn, but he also was a season he's playing in his first year for the NCAA's Michigan Wolverines. In 31 games played, he has himself 31 points and 15 goals as well, which is astonishing, really, because when you take a look at the records that he has been going out there and breaking, Luke Hughes has broken a 45-year-old Michigan program record for freshman defensive goals in a season. He did this with his 14th goal on the year the other day, which happened to be against Ohio State. This was yesterday. He then scored a second goal in that game, putting him up to 15 total goals on the year, cementing himself in this status of being a record breaker for Michigan. Now, go over what Luke Hughes has done in his NCAA season this year compared to Quinn. It's kind of funny because if you take a look at the goals scored in Michigan, Quinn Hughes in 70 games played, so 2 full seasons of Michigan hockey, had himself 10 total goals. Luke Hughes in 30 games has 13, now 14. He has himself a total of 15 now in 31 games, and I mean, if you take a look at how everything has gone about, sure, Quinn Hughes has had himself a very good profile in the NCAA and the NHL, of course. Luke is a lot more of a goal scorer. This tweet by Arne Vanderlei kind of summarizes it up nicely. Yes, Luke has more goal-scoring shots, whereas Quinn is, and will be, the better passer and playmaker. Quinn had 52 assists in 69 games, which is a .75 assists per game marker at Michigan, whereas Luke has 16 in 30, .53 assists per game. Similar but different games, both are a lot of fun to watch though. Now when it comes to defensively, because that is one of the replies on this little tweet over here, Luke Hughes is a guy that was honestly really polished defensively from the get-go. Quinn Hughes was a guy that, in my opinion, his defensive game had a lot more to gain over the years, and we saw that really this season in the NHL. A lot of what made Quinn Hughes so good as a defenseman was just the fact that he had the puck in his stick so much, he didn't really need to defend. That was also one of the main things that he had when the 2018 World Championships were going on. He was Team USA's prized defenseman, even though he was undrafted. He was out there playing against Connor McDavid, shifting against this guy, and they actually asked him about that. Hey, what was it like being a player that is from the college scene? You're going up against NHL talent, you're going up against McDavid. How do you feel that shaped you and all that? And he's like, yeah, well, I didn't let up a goal. So that's kind of how he defends, you know. Quinn Hughes just has the puck in his stick all the time, and that's how he makes his defense. Last season in the NHL for Vancouver, it was really rough. The team was bad. There was an entire pandemic that struck the team, and Quinn Hughes was being exposed for his defensive deficiencies at the time. He was a bad plus-minus rating and everything, and eventually he was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to work on that. Now this season he's been an absolute beast defensively, back-checking like crazy, really getting into his opponent's faces, stealing the puck left and right. Ever since his FGP days, I think a lot of people kind of felt that Luke was a very solidified, fluid player in his own zone as well, even though his offensive prowess was just that gosh darn good. Now, when Luke Hughes actually makes the NHL, we'll see how he's able to develop, but as a fluid skating 6'2" guy, he definitely shouldn't have too much of a transition to go through. It's actually kind of funny because if you take a look at Quinn Hughes in his rookie season in the Michigan Wolverines program, he had himself 29 points in 37 games played. And Luke Hughes is on pace to besting that. Now, I get it, Quinn Hughes was actually a late October birthday in '99, so he was sort of able to get in there a little bit earlier, like he was playing his draft year in the NCAA. Meanwhile, Luke Hughes has made the NCAA in his draft plus 1 year. So there is a little bit of a disparity there. Also, Luke Hughes is one of the youngest players in the entire 2021 NHL entry draft. So there's an entire extra year that he has of development over Quinn. But you also have to take a look if you want to go out there and try to make comparables at the teams themselves. Because for the University of Michigan, this season is one of many elite talents suiting up. Beniers for the Seattle Kraken, Brendan Brisson for the Golden Knights, Ken Johnson, Columbus Blue Jackets, Thomas Bordelot, San Jose Sharks. Of course, you have Owen Power over there from the Sabres. Matthew Samaskevich is there too, Dylan Duke, Jacob Truscott. You have some pretty good players for the University of Michigan, today at least. And if you go over to Quinn Hughes, and Quinn's first University of Michigan year, the best player was Cooper Maroney, who, I mean, it's Cooper Maroney, right? So it's not really the best player out there, especially compared to Matty Beniers and Brendan Brisson and Ken Johnson. So the team that Luke Hughes is playing on is a lot better than the team that Quinn Hughes is playing on, but nevertheless, it still needs to be noted how much of an impact Luke Hughes has had on this team. Broken all the records for goals and all that. He is on pace to probably breaking some other records by the time the season comes down, but either way, Luke Hughes, New Jersey Devils fans are going out there and getting super excited for this guy, and for good reason as well. It really brings up a conversation as to what the Vancouver Canucks and New Jersey Devils have in store for each other, because these two teams have been sort of in the midst of trade talks. You talk about Brock Besser, you talk about Pavel Zacha, you talk about Connor Garland. I've been seeing a lot of Devils fans saying exactly what it is I thought they were going to say. Okay, screw Besser, screw Connor Garland, I want Quinn Hughes. Give me Quinn. And to be fair, I know a lot of Canucks fans are going to be pissed off by that entire idea, because there's no way Vancouver is going to be trading Quinn Hughes anytime soon. The guy's locked down for a while for a reason. He is probably already the best defenseman the Canucks have ever had. And as for Luke coming into the NHL soon, it appears that he's on a profile that says that he might be better. Who really knows? We already made that video a few years ago talking about how scouting reports in 2018 said that Luke was already on a path to becoming very good. So, talking to Thomas, what do you think of your New Jersey Devils fan about Luke Hughes and his development at the NCAA's Michigan Wolverines this season? Are you excited to see this guy? Have you been watching the Michigan Wolverine games? If you have, what have you been noticing? What I believe in can't be contained. I believe with the right tools, we can be.
Welcome back. All right, so again, we have matinee games tomorrow. So there's 7 games. Again, they're nicely spread out, so that's whether they do stuff during intermissions and whatnot. Hey, buddy, all right, so at 10 a.m. in the morning Pacific, 1 p.m. we have the Colorado Avalanche against Buffalo State, and they have final time. Colorado won 8-5. So Colorado's 35-9-4 on the season. Buffalo is 16-25-8. Kemper 24-5-2 with a 9.21 save percentage. His numbers have been fantastic over the last 20 months. And Kale McCarr, 18 goals, 31 assists, 49 points. Fantastic record for him. Honestly, at this point, it looks like he probably wins the North, or there's going to be a lot of worthy defensemen in the hunt for that, including this guy named Fox out of New York who won it last season. Nichushkin, 13 goals, 12 assists for 25 points for him. So yeah, Nichushkin, 13 goals, 12 assists, 25 points. Fantastic record for him, considering he hasn't played all of their games. So, pretty good point per game mark for Nichushkin, and he's an example of a player who needs to change the game coming out of Dallas. He's been absolutely fantastic. On the Buffalo side, where they're 16-25-8, Craig Anderson has a 6-4 record and a 9.17%. So, Buffalo fans have felt like, if we had Anderson all season, who knows what might happen. I don't think playoffs would have been in the hunt, or would have been in the hunt, but yeah, Anderson's numbers have been good. Proso, 11 goals, 15 assists, 27 points, continues to have a pretty solid season, as does Jeff Skinner. 20 goals already, to go with 14 assists for 34 points. So Skinner, finally having that bounce back season we expected last year. Then he's down for 3 hours, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, and we've got the Edmonton Oilers against the Winnipeg Jets. So this one's going to be a lot of fun. November 16th, Winnipeg wins this matchup 4-2, or 5-2, I should say, on November 18th in a shootout at Edmonton. And so Winnipeg had a couple of really good games in the third round. Not like one another. The Oilers 27-18-3. Mike Smith, a 5-4 goaltender with a 904 shooting percentage. Question being, can he bring his numbers up to the top of the net? So two around the deadline. Draisaitl, fantastic game, 35 goals, 33 for 68 points. And Evander Kane's been very good since getting added, and now he gets to Winnipeg. We're up for fans forever. 9 games, 4 goals, 4 assists. What's impressive to me is being good as a player. So it's really helped to solidify that roster. And without Puljujärvi, we'll see really tough. On the Winnipeg side, of course, under the coach, the 4-0 is unchanged. Winnipeg 22-18, they won back-to-back games for the first time in a while. That goal. And against the conference foe, this is a really important game to win in regulation. Hellebuck 17-15 and 17-9-13 save percentage. Around league average, which is the way Hellebuck was. Scheifele's been fantastically back up to around the point game, 17 goals, 22 assists for 41. Both Benson has been very good for them. 18 games, 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. Another one that's pretty good. Then at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, we get into the evening games with Boston and against Ottawa. The third of 4 meetings. November 9th, Boston 9-3-2. On February 12th, so Boston is 3-0. And we look at 3 straight wins over Ottawa as they look to maintain their spot in the playoffs and not have to worry about the fourth and final meeting of the season will be on April 14th. For Boston, they're 27-17-4. Swayman is 9-7-3 with a 9.6 percentage. I picked one goaltender in each game. McAvoy, 7 goals, 21 assists, has had a very good season for Boston. The rust is still a Bruin somehow, and he has 7 goals and 8 assists. It's been a mixed bag for the rest of the and it's going to pay up. They've got some weeks left to do it, but they should get it done. On the Ottawa side, they're 25-4. Forster's record is tied to double digits. It's 1 with a 9-16 save percentage. Foreman, 11 goals, 11 assists for 22 points. Better than his stat without the English short-handed as Connor Brown, 7 goals, 17 assists, 1 point. So we'll see who's doing that one. I'm kind of feeling this, and I hope I'm wrong, but I'm kind of feeling this in that game. Even though Boston is quite touched on it. I could see Ottawa coming out with Boston. And then also at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, St. Louis, and against Toronto. The first game was fantastic. 6-5 wins for Toronto on January 15th. So this one's probably going to be lower scoring, right? For St. Louis, they're 20-14-6 overall. Really, lose those numbers are intimidating. 11-3-2 with a 9.37 save percentage. Dirk Kyrou, 18 goals, 25 assists, 43 points. Very, very good. Avs has Travis Hancock, 16 goals, 27 assists, 45 points. Keeping in mind that he had never officially rescinded his desire to St. Louis trade request. And so if you believe that he may want out, numbers tell you to be a lot easier to trade right now than where it's not. For Toronto, 32-12-3 overall. Campbell's numbers are excellent as well. 23-7-3 with a 9.1.